Good morning. Good morning. This is day 13 of 28 Sparks to Catch Fire. Every morning, 7 a.m., one goal to close the gap between what you know and what you're doing. So every single day, a bit of a principle, a bit of teaching, one spark to ignite your next bold move. And if it's your first time here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Viola. This is Viola Ignites. And this week, we're talking all about courage. Today, we're going to go deeper. Fear is contagious. And if you're not aware of this thing called fear and how potently deadly it is, then you run the risk of slipping into it unknowingly. And you definitely will not catch fire if there's fear around you. So let's look at this principle. Deuteronomy 20, verse 8. It outlines the principles of warfare. It says this, "Then the officers shall speak to the soldiers and say, 'Who is the man who is afraid and lacks courage? Let him go and return to his house, so that he does not cause his brother's courage to fail like his own.'" Who is the man who is afraid? Let him go home. Why? So that he does not cause his brother's courage to fail like his own. Again, Deuteronomy 20, verse 8. So this right here is one of the governing principles for warfare. Before battle, before you actually charge into battle, have somebody walk around and have that person that's walking around ask anybody who is standing ready to charge into the battlefield, ask everybody if they're afraid. And if they are, no judgment, let them go home. And what's interesting about this principle is that it's not a suggestion, it's a command. If you are afraid, go home. Not, let's pray over them. Let's encourage them. Let's charge them up. Let's say you can do it. Let's say fake it till you make it. We got this. No, leave the battlefield. Go home. Why? Because your presence on the battlefield has the power to affect the other soldiers who have courage. That is just so profound, so profound. So the reason those who are afraid are asked to return to their homes, to get off the battlefield, is because there's a spiritual thing happening when there's fear present. And because the spiritual thing that's happening, even if your mouth and your body don't say you're afraid, you might not look like it, you might not sound like it, you might not appear like it, but your fear spiritually is not private. Your fear spiritually does not stay private. It broadcasts itself by its very nature to the other people who are around you and who are supposed to be fighting that battle with you. So it spreads, it infects, it's loud spiritually, even though it might not be naturally. Take note, the power of your fear has tremendous potential to stifle courage in other people, snuff the spark in other people who are supposed to be going to battle with you. So the first point here is, number one, this is not an ancient military strategy. I think this is a spiritual and a psychological law. So you cannot ignore it. You can't ignore that the fear around you will impact you, and or your fear is impacting others around. We're told to be careful with the company we keep because they have the power to shape us. The scripture says in Proverbs, walk with the wise and become wise, for the companion of fools suffers harm, right? So the mere fact of being in companionship with people who are a particular way has a similar effect on me. So here's what I want you to walk away with. Fear is a companion. Fear is a companion, and it is going to shape you. And so if you have companions that are companions with fear, just know it is shaping you. And it's not asking for your permission. It is already shaping you. Now, research backs this. Of course it would, because this is a spiritual principle. So it's going to show up period, right? So I was looking at some research, and I'll link it in the notes, and it says that you don't just catch a person's mood. If a person has a strong mood around you, your nervous system begins to sync with theirs. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that there's studies on emotional contagion that say that when you're in a room with a person who is afraid, your heart rate begins to adjust to match their heart rate. I was looking at this stuff. I was like, please tell me this is not true. Your stress hormone apparently rises. Your fear center activates. Your decision making becomes risk adverse, as like you don't want to take risk just because you're in a room with somebody who's fearful at an elevated level. And this is happening unconsciously. This is not like you sit down and you think about it and then you decide, I'm just going to stand in agreement with this person, with their feelings and with their chemical reactions in your body. Nope. This is happening within milliseconds. So the point I'm making here is that you cannot choose to not be influenced. You are being influenced, okay? You can't I'm just going to ignore the fear around me. I'm just going to ignore the people around me and nothing would happen to me. No, your nervous system is not going to let you, all right? Your nervous system is already in sync with what's happening around you, and it's not asking you questions, and it's not asking you permission. You will catch it. That's the point. That's the point. And more alarming to me is that research shows that fear is going to spread faster than courage would. Like basically negative emotions spread at a 2-to-1 ratio over positive emotions. Think about that. Think about that. Let me say it again. That negative emotions are going to spread at a 2-to-1 ratio over positive emotions. What does that translate into for you? That one fearful person can contaminate 2 courageous people. That's what it means. One fearful person has the potential and the capacity to contaminate 2 courageous people. But one courageous person can only inspire half of a fearful person. Like it's not even a full fearful person that a courageous person can inspire. I mean, like, wow. That to me is alarming. That to me is serious. That you will basically need 2 courageous people to flip one fearful person. That to me is something to take note of. It's something to take note of on your courage walk. And I think that's exactly why we're told, hey, if there's a war, send the fearful people home. Don't let them stay on the battlefield because you can't outpace the contamination. You have to remove it. You have to extract them. And so here's the question. Here's the question for you. I want you to do a little analysis, a little assessment, a little review. Are you right now, are you a contamination in your circles? Do you know? Do you know whether or not the dominant energy, the dominant vibe you're giving off is one of fear? And knowing what you know now about the contamination rate, do you understand what your impact can be on your circle? So, I mean, for me, that really just makes it so clear. Like you either need to get courageous or leave that circle so you don't keep contaminating them. Are the people around you spreading fear, And here, I just wrote down 2 or 3 signs that you're in a contaminated environment. The majority of the conversations kind of go to a worst case scenario. There's nobody around you making any bold moves, right? Courage gets mocked, okay, or despised as reckless. Everybody in your circle is quote unquote being realistic, or you know what it is, being afraid. So make the assessment. And when you make the assessment, you got to determine, okay, where am I? All right. Knowing the effects of fear in my environment, where am I? And I think if you understand that your environment is a fear box, then you need to leave the environment. Or at a minimum, really, 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 really limit your exposure, right? Because here is the point. You can never catch fire when you're surrounded by people who are spreading fear. Never, 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 never. You can never catch fire. So you have to remove the fear or leave the environment that has that contamination. All right. So it's just decide I'm not going to hang out. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. The season is too precious. The time is too urgent. I understand the principle and I'm going to put it to work. So here is my spark for you. Do an honest assessment of your circle and determine today whether you have to remove some elements in that circle or contain the exposure from that circle because you understand how deadly fear is if you're going to fight a battle. All right. All right. And if you want to read more about this, read Gideon's story in the book of Judges. I think Judges chapter 7. Same criteria. He's told, hey, tell everybody that all the 32,000 people, tell them whoever is afraid, let them go home. And guess how many soldiers went home? 22,000 soldiers went home. 22,000 soldiers said, yep, I am afraid. I have no business here. Peace. I'm out. This is the conclusion of the matter. You can't stay in fear and catch fire. Those two things don't go together. You can't. You can't be surrounded by fear and assume that you're not being contaminated with it, right? And you can't stay in fear and catch fire. You have to choose it. And I'm hoping that today is your decision point. Tomorrow, day 14, we'll do a really brief episode, and I'm just going to share some tips to help you think through how to put together your courage circle. So we'll do that on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have a live show. Sunday, 15th of February, we're going to be here live at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join me. We have a guest. Her name is Stella Ihenacho, and she is, among many, many, many things, this woman is phenomenal. She's a speaker. She's not only a speaker, she's a coach. She's not only a coach, she's an agile practitioner. And she's the founder of a community called Women Doing It Afraid. The perfect person to have a conversation with about all things courage and doing things afraid. So join us. And lastly, before I sign off for today is the 13th of February. I want to do a birthday shout out to my sister, my darling big sister, Donna. And another shout out to my darling cousin, Angeline. I want to say happy birthday to you, wonderful ladies. And here is to a brand new year, a brand new season that I pray will be full of ignited, bold moves. God bless you. See you tomorrow. And thank you so much.